Hello friends and welcome to my channel Ticket to Canada. Today we'll be evaluating an essay of one of my subscriber. And if you want your essay to be evaluated, you are most welcome to drop your writing in the comment section and I'd love to get back to you. Without wasting any time, let's jump to the essay. Some people think that the best way to reduce crime is to give longer prison sentences. Others, however, believe that there are better alternative ways of reducing crime. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Like I always say in my evaluation, that please read the question prompt very carefully. At least read your question 3 times. It really helps you a lot. You're not wasting any time by reading your question 3 times. It's actually going to help you. Trust me. Let's jump to the introduction. Nowadays, punishing criminal by imprisonment is becoming increasingly popular. I like to stop over here because in the question prompt it's mentioned longer prison sentence. Here it is, longer prison sentence. But in the introduction, the first one only, you have just mentioned imprisonment. Now, imprisonment can be of 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. So you have to be very specific. You have to kind of follow the question prompt. So it's either you should write a longer imprisonment or either elongated imprisonment, but not make sure not write only imprisonment. Okay, moving on. While some people believe that it is the most effective method to decrease the crime rate, others think that there are also several better options available. Instead of also, you should be writing other or additional. Okay. This essay will discuss why longer prison sentences are perceived as the best action against criminals, but why other option can also be useful for combating unlawful activity in our society. This is a very beautiful word you have used. It's actually very good. Unlawful activity. It will certainly give you an edge. Okay. Now jumping on to the main body, paragraph 1. As far as I see, introduction part is quite good. If you write one line additional for your opinion in this introduction, it will be beneficial, kind of give you an additional band maybe. Okay, jumping on to the main body, paragraph 1. Prison sentence for a long period of time. Now this is a complete no-no. Means most in generally we kind of tend to use this word together, period of time, but actually it comes under tautology. Means you kind of repeating the same thing, period and time, it's kind of same. So it should be like prison sentence for a long period or for a long time is considered as the most efficient way to lessen crime in many countries. Okay, moving on. The reason behind this is that people are seriously concerned about the lengthy jailing instead of other corrective measures. Now, this is kind of incorrect because you haven't discussed anything about the additional corrective measures. So, you should be writing just like that. People are seriously concerned about the lengthy jailing. That's it. Instead of other corrective measures, you should not be writing in here because you haven't discussed anything about additional corrective measures. If you have used this thing in the main body, paragraph 2, then when you have already discussed the additional corrective measures, then you can write this line. Okay, it kind of not in this, not very cohesive, you can say. Okay, moving on. So they refrain themselves from committing any crime. For instance, it is seen that people in my country are highly aware of performing any criminal activity after the government implemented longer imprisonment, even if for petty crimes. Therefore, it is very evident that people usually stay away from anything that lead to longer jailing, hence reducing the crime. Now, this line is very good, but above this means the earlier sentence is kind of incorrect. Just let me point out the errors. Okay, prison sentence for long period of time, long period is considered as most efficient way to lessen crime in many countries. The reason behind this is that people are seriously concerned about the corrective measures. Okay, so they refrain themselves. Means what you did is you just kind of say mention that people are kind of concerned and that's why they refrain themselves. You must elaborate this idea that why they are concerned, because even if they are committing a very small crime, then also they are into a grave danger of being penalized by a longer imprisonment. Means you must elaborate this idea a bit. instead of just writing one line. Then this is a very incorrect example, I must say. Like, sorry, just a moment. For instance, it is seen that people in my country are highly aware of performing any criminal activity after the government implemented. Nobody knows about in which country you stay and what kind of government is there and what kind of imprisonment law they have posed on. So this is a big mistake in this example. Instead of writing this type of example, you should be writing example like, say for example, what should I say that say if a government impose a longer imprisonment, people think twice before committing any crime. Or say, what should I say additionally, that people kind of learn a lesson from other who are servicing a longer imprisonment. This type of example you must use instead of this, my country, my government. No, it's a big blunder you must one should make. Okay, moving on to the main body paragraph 2. On the contrary, no, on the it's wrong. Instead of on the contrary, in this context you must be writing additionally. There are people who believe that other measures should be taken. Okay, let's move on. On the contrary, in many countries, especially in Middle East Asia, various other way of punishing criminals are widely practiced. Capital punishment like hanging or decapitation or the electric chair, hand chopping, stoning are some known form of punishment. Now in this line, it's completely evident that you are using different kind of punishment just to increase the word count. It's actually very evident. You should never use this type of thing. Means you can add 10 additional punishments as well if you want to, but that's not what an IELTS examiner is looking for. In this context, you must be mentioning either one or two punishments. That's more than enough, and that too not in the first line. It means instead of elaborating the additional measures which should be taken apart from longer imprisonment, what you did, you just started explaining that in Middle East these type of punishment are being practiced, which is not a question prompt is asking you. The question prompt is asking you that what additional measures should be taken apart from this longer imprisonment. So here you are kind of deviating from your task response. Still moving on. Punishment that are generally used in Arab countries to discipline people. It is found that those people are immensely frightened from these type of intense and somewhat barbaric punishments. So they restrain themselves from committing these antisocial acts. This is a very beautiful line. Trust me, it's very good. Stick to this. Thus, the crime rate has been significantly reduced due to the implementation of these alternative ways. This line is good, but above means prior sentences are wrong. In this main body paragraph 1, how you should start it is like, let me think, that in addition to the longer imprisonment, there are better ways of punishing criminals, like this electric chair or decapitation, this type of thing. Then you should mention these sentences, and then in the example you should mention this line, that in Arab country people are being disciplined by these type of barbaric punishments. Then it will be much better example. Okay, moving on to your conclusion. To recapitulate, I don't understand why people nowadays are using the word recapitulate. Means if you see the detailed description of what exactly the brand descriptors are asking you in writing task 2, they want you to sound as natural as possible. Now in your common day-to-day language, you don't use this word to recapitulate. Mostly you use the word to conclude. It's a very beautiful word. Don't think as that most of the people are using to conclude, so I should not be using to conclude. It's perfectly fine to use the word to conclude. It's very beautiful word, and I always suggest that you should be landing on to conclude instead of any other word. It's actually very good, and it's not gonna harm you or cost you a band. It will certainly be giving you an additional band. Trust me, it comes under cohesion. Okay. To recapitulate, a prolonged prison sentence is comprehended as the most accepted format among many choices of corrective measures. This essay discusses why it is a constructive way to reduce crime, but why other choices can also be in effect in some countries. In my opinion, despite some brutal alternatives, a longer prison sentence is bringing significant result in limiting crime. Now, in conclusion, I always say in my other evaluations that you should just give a zest of what you have discussed in your main body paragraph 1 and main body paragraph 2. What you did is you just mentioned that this essay discuss why it is a corrective way to reduce crime. That's it. Means you just give a zest that which results in people getting more aware or more concerned about getting longer imprisonment sentence. You should just give a zest. It will certainly give you an additional band. Trust me. Okay. Still, if I say for lexical resource, you will not be getting more than 5.5 because there are certain topic related vocabulary which you must have used. Like one I came up with while evaluating your essay is the judicial custody. It's a very good word which you should mention in this type of essay. Still means you kind of able to come up with certain vocabulary, but still I do understand that this topic kind of have limitation with vocabulary, but still you will not be getting more than 5.5, or maybe if you are very lucky you will be getting a 6. For grammatical range and accuracy, you will be getting 5.5 because there are lots of grammatical errors, then there are article errors, spelling mistakes are there. Please make sure to overcome this. I have highlighted all the grammatical errors in red and made the correction right next to it and highlighted it in green. For coherence and cohesion, you will not be getting more than 5.5 because although you have used certain cohesive devices like the reason behind, therefore, on the contrary, thus, these, this, to recapitulate, but still these are very basic cohesive devices which you are using. You should come up with a bit more cohesive device. Like in addition to is a very beautiful cohesive device which you can use in any type of essay. Then however is a very good cohesive device. You must use however instead of but. It actually give you an edge. For task response, I'll say you'll be getting a 6 because your main body paragraph 2 you wasn't able to explain as what a question prompt is asking you. So overall, I'll say it will be a 6 or 5.5 band essay. But if you made a desired correction in task response, you'll certainly be able to achieve at least 6.5, or say, if you are very lucky, 7. If you are very through with your grammar. Okay. So I think I'm done with this essay. And if you have any queries related to my evaluation, feel free to drop your question in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer your questions. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and support my channel by subscribing it. Thank you. Thanks, Star.